Howdy, y'all. I'm sorry. I have
Hello, everyone.
Neil Perkins, Mr. Hyde, Blue Bonnet, and John Hooven Coogan. And we're going to be doing Neil Perkins, Mr. Hyde. Okay, sir. What the?
You've got your YouTube on.
Someone does. Someone does. I don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
Me.
Not me, that's for sure.
It's surprising because sometimes I do, but not now.
That's odd. I don't have. Only thing I have open StreamYard. That's about it.
Okay, but it's stopped now. So wherever it was, it's gone.
Yeah, wherever it's gone. Yeah,
It was the ghost of YouTube.
It was.
It goes to YouTube. Okay, Gremlins, everyone. Okay, we're going to try to see. Okay, we have. I understand how you feel, Neil. Okay, we got geeks enjoy neurotic. Hello there.
Hello,
and Mr. Hyde said hi in the chat. Hi, Yvette. Hello, Yvette.
Hello, Yvette.
And we have Lizzie.
Hey, Lizzie.
Hi, Liz.
Okay. Geez, a lot of chat between Lizzie and Yvette.
Nothing good can come of that.
Nope.
And we got Hypnotic Rocket. Hi, Rocket.
Hi, Rocket. Hello, Mitt.
And we got Disaster.
Disaster. Hello.
Hello there.
And let's see here. Keep going down. Okay, there's a lot of things you have to go through here. I know we got Gary Retro Doc. I know we got him there. And I don't see anybody yet. So anyway, we're going to be
Colin P. Smith's there.
Hello, Colin.
Hey, Colin. Yeah, and we're going to be doing a review of The Time Meddler, William Hartnell, which is Neil P's favorite episode of William Hartnell.
It's certainly up there in my top ones of William Hartnell's, yes.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be the first one to do the review, but I'm going to read the synopsis. You're the one that suggested it. Okay, here we go. This is synopsis. The Doctor, Vicky, and the new companion, Stephen Taylor, arrive in the Saxton. Yeah, we'll just say.
Like Harold Saxon.
Yeah. On the eve of the Viking and Norman invasion, it is 1066, a pivotal moment in British history. The hand of a mysterious monk is at work in the nearby monastery, intending that history takes a different course. Okay, I mean it's interesting. Okay, Neil P, your review of the show.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, and as you've said, it is one of my favourite Hartnell ones. I like the sort of where the Doctor's walking around in history anyway, and the fact that this one introduced a new Time Lord that we'd never seen. Well, we didn't know there were Time Lords then, but another one of his species anyway. And so that sort of just opened my eyes about this one straight away because I liked the one. It's no surprise to people that the TARDIS is one of my favourite things, and so when we get another TARDIS showing up as well at the end of the first time I ever watched it, and we get the reveal of another TARDIS, yeah, that just made my day. That did. And Peter Butterworth, who played the monk, was very well known on British TV. I mean, he'd been in things called the Carry On films, and he was great as the monk because he was usually a comedy actor, but this was a very sort of straight role for him, and he was brilliant. And of course, it's the first one with Stephen, although Stephen was never one of my favourite companions, but it's just a good all. I mean, it was the end of a series, at the end of a season, and so it was a good one to finish off the season. And yeah, it's just for those reasons, being the historical and another Time Lord, it's always been one of my favourites. So there you go. I'll let somebody else speak for a bit first now.
Okay, Mr. Hyde, you're next. We're just going.
Well, first off, I want to say how gorgeous the DVD cover is for it.
Oh wow, that is great.
Hold on, this is the way we'll do it. Give him. If it's,
The US releases always get different artwork to the UK one, or the because that's the same as the one and they're doing in North America, isn't it?
My window.
Yeah, I do like the way that they did that.
Yeah, see, I love the green in it. And then the shadow with the monk. That was brilliant. It's actually one of my.
Usually the U.S. releases aren't that nice. Actually, usually I prefer the UK ones, but that one's cool.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And Peter Buttersworth did a fantastic job as the monk. I also liked a lot of the camera work. Like there's, when the monk is standing on that, on the ledge, right, and the camera work up with the wind and everything around him. It's brilliantly shot. And the what do you call it? The one-liners that come out of William Hartnell in this episode.
He was on good form in this one. Yeah.
The whole thing about when they see the helmet and he says, well, what do you think it is? A space helmet for a cow? I mean, that's every time I hear it, right? So, and then you said about the other TARDIS, the first time we ever see a second TARDIS. When I watched that for the first time, I was just like through the moon. I was like, shit, there's a no TARDIS. Another one of the Doctor's kind is there. And now I like the chemistry between the monk and the Doctor as well. And I always thought that the monk was an earlier version of the Master. That's what I always thought.
Okay.
Brilliant story.
Crockett says, if drivers go driving and shoppers go shopping, do monks go monkeying? I had to put that up. I had to really put that up.
You never know. You never know.
But Colin said this is he said that no that's the okay no that's right. Gary says the story had a great scenes with Stephen and Vicky. They were a good team.
They did seem to get on well.
Yeah. I did like that a lot.
Okay.
You might not realize what Colin meant by the Blue Peter badge thing, Michelle.
No, I don't.
No. The guy who played Stephen was a presenter on a children's TV program called Blue Peter. Which was it was a BBC children's program, and it ran for a long time. I think actually I'm not even certain whether it is still going or not.
Yeah, isn't it still? Yeah, I heard it was.
He was the only Doctor Who person that's been on that show too, right? Because what's her name?
Yes, there was
Lawrence of Nemo.
Janet Ellis.
Janet Ellis, that's it. Yeah, yeah, she was also in Doctor Who. I think he was the only companion that had been in the presenters, but yeah, there were. I mean, they had quite a lot of links with Doctor Who all through the years. They always did. They showed you how to make a lot of the things in Doctor Who and all that sort of stuff. So it was always, and they got sort of because I think it was the same studios, so they always used to get. They had props in the studio from Doctor Who. They always had all the actors in the studio, and it was always linked with Doctor Who. And they gave out badges. Anybody who was anything, if you went on the show or if you wrote a letter into the show, you got a Blue Peter badge.
Didn't Ace have a Blue Peter badge?
Say again.
Ace had a Blue Peter badge too, didn't she?
She did. Yeah, Ace used to wear one on her coat. Yeah.
Okay, John, you're next.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. It's to me, it's a weird thing. It's a story that itself is okay, but it's not that sort of interesting. But there's so many different aspects about the sort of story itself, like introduction of a new Time Lord. Though, as Neil says, we didn't actually know they were Time Lords at the time.
No.
And things like that. And just Stephen Taylor. I like Peter Purvis. I think he's really good. He's took very much over the Chesterton role of the strapping young man who did the action stuff. And I think he did quite well at that. I think the beard looked really good on him as well. Peter Butterworth, he was fantastic. He did a really good sort of performance as the monk. The best scenes in the whole show are when he sort of mixed him with the Doctor, the back and forward between them, and they were really good as well. So all around, I liked it. I thought it was a fantastic show. Really, really good.
I put this up, and they're one that came from Rocket. Everyone calls my granddad Blue Peter, mainly because he has hyperphoria. I'm just Rocket.
That's so bad. It's good.
Good old Rocket. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just. I mean, I think he really would do great if he was on stream because the way he came across.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Blue.
Absolutely adore this episode. I'm in agreement with everybody here that the chemistry between all the characters are great. Steven's character being kind of a little bit a doubting Thomas in a way, doesn't believe anything he sees, even though he's flying around in a time machine, which is hilarious, but he doubts everything. It's real. But I do like this episode because it's like, you don't think much at first. It just seems like a typical historical episode, but of course it's much more, which I like the mixing of the science fiction aspect with historical. You see that later with episodes like The Time Warrior, which I love that. I prefer that. I think it really works well here. It's like an historical science fiction mixed with a Twilight Zone, kind of like, when the Doctor figures out, here's the recording, here's the monk singing, and then it starts, it skips and it starts slowing down, and then he realizes, and he gets that look in his eye like, oh, something to investigate, and then it's going to go, wow, it's going to go the sci-fi. And it's great. That scene right when he figures it out, when he has that gleam in his eye, is what I love about William Hartnell, and what I loved about his era is he had that mischievous, I'm going to investigate, I'm going to find out what's going on. And then between him and the monk, and at the very end where obviously he punishes the monk, and the monk thinks he gets away, and then he realizes he's stuck in that for all of eternity until the Doctor comes back, and which is unfortunate, because I do think they should have revisited that to see what was going on, because I mean, you just left it there, and come on, we all wanted to see what happened with the monk.
Yeah.
Well, John and I were talking about this earlier on today, because he does go up again, doesn't he, in one of the missing stories?
He's in the Daleks Master Plan. He's in 3 episodes, but one of them actually still exists, episode 10, which shows what actually ends up happening to the monk and what goes on.
Okay.
And he's a great character. He's a very funny character. I liked in The Time Meddler. He had this parchment with all the jobs he had to do, and the second one was build atomic cannon. And I thought, what? I thought, Jesus, he's got a checklist of all this shit to do. And but he was very, very good in The Time Meddler. It was more of a better role in some ways, because he was a bit overshadowed by the Daleks and that, and the Dalek Master Plan.
Yeah,
but,
I would like to see it revisited with him and the Doctor, and them facing off, or them, him getting away, so figuring out how to get out of that situation, and then the Doctor, of course, has to, reel him in again, because he really thought he was doing something good, and and that's what made the story interesting.
I tried to watch, because I've got some of the reconstructions of the missing episodes of the Dalek Master Plan, and I had to listen to the first one that the monk shows up in, and in that he explains that he bypasses the dimensional controls, which is the thing that was making his TARDIS smaller on the inside, and so that enabled him to use the TARDIS. But the Doctor actually turns around to him and says, I bet that was an uncomfortable ride, because he has to cram himself into a smaller version of the TARDIS to use it. So,
and he wasn't a small person either.
No, he wasn't.
Well, I was going to post up the picture. This is what we were talking. This is what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you imagine what he actually manages to do is to get in there and use the TARDIS while it's that small. So I mean, unfortunately, you don't see that in the Dalek Master Plan, but just the thought of him cramming himself into that space,
quite entertaining.
Doesn't it kind of remind you of Peter Capaldi in that one episode where it kept shrinking?
Flat line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Where his stars
I
kept
think that
shrinking.
was almost, it was a little nod to it, but I would have preferred actually the 12th Doctor running into, of course, we wouldn't have the same actor, but running into the meddling monk. Now that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
I think they've used him in some of the audios and the written work. Because I think there's a story. I know there's a 5th Doctor story where he meets him, and I think there's a 7th Doctor, but it's only in the Big Finish audios and the novels
I
as
think
well.
he was supposed to turn up too in the season that wasn't made with Colin Baker, and I think they did a book with him, if I remember correctly. Too. I can't remember what story that was going to be called. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure he was supposed to come back with the 6th Doctor.
Well, it's like Andy says, it's a shame they didn't, because I think that character could have he could have been a bit like the Master, because I think although he's similar to the Master, he's more of just a mischievous person rather than the evil one, and he could have just kept cropping up and been trying to change history somewhere, and the Doctor's got to sort it out. But it's unfortunate they never did.
Gary,
he's actually still out there as well, because what actually happens to him is he chases after the Doctor, and then I thought about it when you were talking earlier on, sort of Blue. He puts super glue in the TARDIS locks, on this really unstable planet, and then buggers off and leaves him. But the Doctor manages to get in and chases him to sort of ancient Egypt, where the Doctor nicks the bit of his TARDIS that tells the TARDIS how to go at navigational things. So he escapes to the Daleks, jumps in, and TARDIS is off, but he ends up on an ice planet. He can't get his TARDIS, so he's just running about the universe randomly doing stuff. So he is still out there, the mischievous monk, so he could come back. Yeah.
Gary just said he should have come back in Troughton's there. They would have been great together.
Yeah.
It would have been, actually. They'd have been very similar, though, because the Troughton was a little bit Peter Butterworth.
Oh, no, here's another one. If the Meddler took up music, would it be monk rock?
He's born tonight.
Yeah.
The interesting thing I found as well, because obviously we've only seen in entirety the Time Meddler, but the very rare clips that are available for him when he comes back in the Dalek Master Plan, he's still dressed as the monk. And you're thinking, well, hang on, that was a disguise in the Time Meddler, but he's still
so you're just going with it.
Yeah, he's just going with the monk's habit.
Yes, because
Anyway.
the monk's real name, it's revealed in some of the audiobooks. His real first name is Mortimus. Which I thought
that suits him.
Mortimus the Meddling Monk.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good name.
That's great. That really is. I didn't know that.
It's very Gallifreyan, isn't it, Mortimus?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, by the way, oh my God, what Gary about?
Ideas.
What did we give? What did we give Chibs? Who gave Chibs ideas?
He called himself the
loneliest monk.
We're assuming that Chibs can actually read, so
yeah,
he certainly can't write, can he?
No, he can't write. Okay, no. I'm last. Save the best for last, right? I like this episode because of all the history and like some of the one-liners when he was holding the Viking helmet. And he says, "This is a helmet for a space cow," or however you said it. And I thought that was really funny. And the one thing is, I like, later on in William Hartnell's episodes, his laugh, his mischievous laugh. I mean, it suits him. And then he always wanted to investigate. Investigate if something's going on. He met this woman in the village, and he's asking her about the monastery. He said, "Well, I'm going to go up and visit. Check it out." And you could see his curiosity, wanting to find out what's going on and stuff. And I thought, now the monk, like I said, it's almost kind of like a master because he's mischievous, but he's not complete because he wants to mess with time. But he wants to make it, he wants to make history a little bit more easier for people, and it's just I like how the Doctor stopped him, by putting a note, and then when he opened the door to his TARDIS, it was like so small, and you could see his face. But it was a good episode. I liked it, and I liked how the actor who played the monk did a. I mean, he really did good. He really did a good job.
I mean, Peter Butterworth was a great. I mean, he was. I don't think he'd started out as a comedy actor, but we'd known him in the UK as mainly from the Carry On films. But he was. I think he was a serious actor. I think he was a stage actor. So
I think with Peter Butterworth, he was very much into sort of kids shows in sort of late 50s and stuff like that. And he was like a TV presenter. Remember Cracker Jack? Remember Peter Glaze? That bloke he's in Cracker Jack. He did that sort of role, I think. Something called Whirly Gigs or something like that. But he didn't actually do any Carry On films until after he made this episode. He made the first one, which I think was Carry On Cowboy. He made that the same year as he made the Time Meddler. So he wasn't actually known as a comedy actor when he was doing this.
No, I think, but I would have probably only, because I would have not watched the Time Meddler until well later on, so I would have seen him in Carry On films first.
It is the only thing I've seen him in that's not a Carry On film, to be brutally honest. So yeah.
I think it is.
I just read Rocket says Chips could never steal that idea. He couldn't spell timeless monk, the loneliest monk.
Thelonious Monk.
Yeah, he couldn't.
He couldn't, because I don't think he knows how to. I don't think he know how to spell, because if he can't, he's not a good writer. So
I honestly doesn't think he cares about Classic Who at all. So or any of that type of style. So
no.
Well, apart from trying to just shoehorn in people that will maybe make people watch his episodes, because
yeah, of course. But I mean, I think he shoehorned in more New Who than Classic.
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah.
Other than the Time Lords, which we won't discuss.
No, we don't want to.
That's certainly not what he's done to him. No.
No.
By the way, here's the people Saxons.
Yeah.
And then this is whenever the doctor met the woman. The
yeah, I wondered what was in that thing he was drinking, because he was reading.
It was some sort of like mead.
It was mead.
It was mead. And he said it was quite delicious, so he
was enjoying it. Yeah.
Doctor's getting a little drunk there.
Yeah. That lady is the lady out of the Savages. Remember the second one, Unearthly Child, when they were...
Oh, yeah, it really was.
It's the same woman.
When I watched it last night, I thought I recognized her. I didn't place that, though. Yeah.
Same old lady, yeah.
Yeah, when they want a K woman, or that's what they get. Her. There's a card on her.
She was typecast.
I will say this: they at least tried to make her like authentic for that time. She didn't have like a full, like in the '60s American shows, like they would make them all like have like eyeliner, and they'd be all like. But at least they tried to make her like authentic looking. I'll give them that. Oh,
she certainly looked like she hadn't washed in a while.
Right. So, I mean, you guys knew what you were doing. And, in the 60s in our shows, they look like they have false eyelashes on and,
Well, the one thing Doctor Who always did really well was the period pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I've heard other people say that Britain can do period stuff quite well. I mean, I've seen period stuff done from America done fairly well, but apparently people have said that Britain have managed to do it so well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but they did seem to go more into detail to try and make things look more authentic.
One of my favorite shows right now that I've been watching has been called The Midwife, and they've gone from the 60s, now they're up to the 70s in the period costumes that they use. It's just amazing.
Oh, I just was reading what Gary says. They really downplayed the issue of what the Vikings did to Edith.
Oh, yeah.
But it's implied, surprising they would put that in what was still a children's show.
Yeah, I caught that, but I think they did it in a very well. I mean, as a kid, you probably wouldn't get a lot of that. As an adult, we kind of see, the horrors of war and those type of things. But kids don't really have that knowledge, thankfully, at that age. So they probably wouldn't get it. They probably thought, oh, they, you know, maybe they hit her or something. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, Gary's right. It would have, you know, as an adult, you'd have known what they were doing, but when you were watching that as a kid, you probably wouldn't have even thought about it too much, what they'd done to her.
But
I thought that was actually very, very interesting. How they didn't sugarcoat it.
No.
What they were, and now they would. I don't know. I think now first of all, they wouldn't get the history right. Like the thing about Classic Who that I really do like is they were true to history.
Yeah.
They tried to be as close. They didn't try to like shoehorn in some kind of message, or it was just the bare facts. They did it with the Aztecs. They didn't sugarcoat things as much. Now they would be like, oh, let's sugarcoat it because we're all too sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's trying to. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I was just agreeing with Andy. Yeah, it's right. You wouldn't that now that same story made in modern Who would just be wrong. Just wouldn't work.
It just no. Yeah, I've noticed Classic Who did anything that's part related to history. Was really well done. I've never seen any of the new Who going back in history. You know, I may be wrong, but I don't.
Well, I haven't done it as often. Certainly, well, Chibnall's tried it a couple of times, hasn't he? But
tried. That's the word.
But I mean, all through Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, and Capaldi, really. I mean, there's not many historical ones. Sort of Mount Vesuvius. Not Mount Vesuvius. Yeah, Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah, the Pompeii one.
The Pompeii one. Yeah. And there's the William Shakespeare one. That's the only two I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then they had Dickens and The Unquiet Dead.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
but they take a lot more liberties. Like they don't like, you know, at the Classic they actually kind of like you could watch it and go, oh well that adds up. That adds up a little bit more than you know you throw Dickens in some sort of like you know tale that he probably wouldn't be, you know, like that's not historical. Like he wasn't here at this time, and it wasn't, you know, it's all made up more, I think.
So this is why I like stories like The Time Meddler, because it's just about the Doctor trying to put right what somebody else is because he knows the way history should be going. So he's there to put it right. And that's why, like we said earlier, that they really missed a trick not bringing the Time Meddler back. The Meddling Monk back to cause some other things that the Doctor had got to put right.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with other Time Lords in Doctor Who other than the Master, because you see the Master a lot. You know, it's nice to see, like we saw Romana, and that was great. And you know, I believe the Ronnie was obviously some sort of like Time Lord, from what I gather. I could be wrong.
She was supposed to be another renegade like the Master.
So I'm fascinated. Like I think that was smart doing that. They don't do that now. They just rely on the Master. Just throw him out there or her out there, and just like, well, that'll work. No, we want more. I mean, we want more of that. But well, even
they had the perfect opportunity with Michelle Gomez, because I've said this loads of times. I think she would have worked much better as being another evil. I mean, she'd have worked as the Rani more than the Master anyway. But even if they'd have just created another renegade Time Lord, or you know, what I thought was really good, because of the way she called herself Missy, I thought of Mistress being what K9 used to call Romana, and it could have been Romana has gone evil.
You know, that would be interesting. That would have been. I mean, like, look, I didn't have a problem with her as the Master because the way she's a good actress. So I could accept it. But I see what you're saying, though. Like, that would have been awesome, too. Like, there's so many different avenues they could have gone that would have just been made people just as happy or happier. I mean, you know, I'm not as picky about the Master as I'm in the Doctor being female, because the Doctor's, you know, the main character. Yeah. So I don't mind liberties being made with I'm not saying the Master's a side character per se, but it's not as important as the Doctor.
And it was even worse turning Capaldi into her. That was what it was.
Yeah.
Turning Capaldi into Whittaker.
Yeah, it was, because here's the thing, like, you're taking an Oscar-winning actor, and you know, and you're going from, it's like having a gourmet meal to eating Taco Bell.
Yeah.
That's a good.
And then you just get the shits after, like eating a Taco Bell. We've had continuous shits for 2 years, so. Anyway,
I've certainly had some wrenching moments after watching her episodes. Let's put it that way.
Gives you the shit.
I'm on like a live, doctors group, and there's a person said that they watched season 11, 12, and like everybody's asking, well, why are you doing it? And they say for educational purposes. I said, why do you need to waste your life? Because there's no education.
I cannot talk about them, Michelle, because for I did it too. I did reviews, and I'm done with that.
So
I got more important stuff to watch.
But
watch the Whittaker episode.
Yeah, it's like, why do you have to? I said, just look at the ratings. That will explain it. But hey, whatever floats your boat is fine with me. Anyway, but the one thing I like is how William Hartnell was trying to tell the Time Meddler about messing with time, that it was downright wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you're talking two different personalities, aren't you? You've got a guy who's interested in just playing around with things and making things work differently, and then you've got the Doctor who is all about history shouldn't be tampered with and things should play out as they already have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was even a scene in it where they're all sat tied up in front of the Time Meddler's TARDIS, and they're talking about, if he succeeds, will we just not remember history? Will all the history books just suddenly get changed? And the Doctor's just sat there thinking about how to put it right.
I just read Rockets right here. Turn Capaldi into Whittaker is the same as swapping your Lamborghini for a clap out 1960 Ford. You just don't do it.
She's the Ford Pinto.
I thought that was a great analogy. That really explains it. I mean, I never watched season 11 because I tried to watch the first. I watched some of the episodes in season 12. I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm not going to, because I don't want to waste my life, because I already wasted my life watching a few episodes in season 12. I'm like, mm-mm.
Don't do it.
And when I saw that Dalek, I was like, yeah. And I think Dean called it butt plug. I said, yeah, it sure does. It sure does. I mean, they screwed up in the new. I mean, with the lady that shall not be named. That created the Daleks for her, as a Doctor. They screwed up. They messed with it. That is something you shouldn't mess. You should keep it exactly the same when they first bring them in. Maybe update, make them look not raggy and stuff like that. But they should keep the same style.
Well, what they don't understand is that progression is not always a good thing.
Mm-mm.
Because people are about nostalgia, and the fan base is about what reminds them of being a kid, and what makes them being a kid is the original Dalek. So you should go with that. I mean, yes, make it look a little bit better as far as the filming, but why change it? Why change the perfect Dalek that was created in the 60s? And I just think it's just like, I kind of feel the same way about the Cybermen too.
I remember seeing one of the Doctor Who confidentials when the new series came back in 2005. And of course, that was the first time they'd had to bring a Dalek back, and for the first step, the one called Dalek. Mm-hmm. And they said when that was, they literally wheeled it out in front of the crew for the first time, and everybody was in awe of the fact that because this thing it still looked like a Dalek. It hadn't been changed to the point of not recognize it as a Dalek. But if they'd have made it look like this new one in 2005, I think people would have been just like, "What's that? That doesn't look like a Dalek." So
I like Christopher Eccleston when we first get the chance to see the Dalek, and he meets Dalek for the first time. You could see the fear in him, and then when he realized that the Dalek couldn't do anything, then you see his anger towards the Dalek.
It's only fear for a split second, because I don't think he thinks that there's any left. So the fact that he sees this one is the realization that there's still a Dalek left, and because of what they've done to his people and Gallifrey and all that sort of stuff. So it's fear for a split second, I think, and then it turns to, okay, I've got to deal with this Dalek. So,
but like I said, as as much as I like in Matt Smith and David Tennant, the Cybermen. I kind of like the one that was in Peter Capaldi's, like towards the end, because they looked and they didn't do any stompy wompy.
Oh, you mean the
Mondasian ones?
The Mondasian, yeah, those are my favorite.
Those
I love them.
Yeah.
And they really did a good job of recreating those as well.
That was such a creepy. It's so creepy that whole scene in that hospital ward is absolutely creepy.
They brought the Cybermen back and made them look scary again.
Yes, it was great, especially when it kept repeating the same. I don't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was saying, but it was like, it was in pain, and Bill was standing there, not knowing what to do, and it was so creepy and horrifying, that they just turned it off, so they can't. It's that actually really made me want to go, and actually that was partially why I went back and watched all the classic, because I wanted to see those types of Cybermen, because I thought that was just the way that they designed that was so creepy and so menacing. Yeah, more menacing than those stompy ones that they had for Age of Steel and all that.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the stompy wompy Cybermen. I mean, Cybermen are what they're my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
Doctor Who. And I've been okay with most of the versions of them, right the way back from the Mondasian one. I mean, my favourite is probably still the sort of Earthshock Cybermen. Or even in the Earthshock ones, when they were looking more robotic, they still weren't sort of stompy wompy. They still moved normally. They still, and they were quite a threat. But these stompy wompy ones, you just thought, well, as long as you can run faster than one of them, you can get away from it.
Yeah, but the sad thing is Bill getting shot, and then we find out she was put into the Cybermen. But when we see her talking to Doctor, you see her.
Yeah.
But when the Doctor looked at her, he saw Cybermen, and it's like that kind of.
That was all. I thought that was all. That was well done. The only thing I had a problem with is the Master being in love with him. Well, it makes sense, but the Master's being in love with himself and wants to make out with himself. That kind of, I thought that was a little tasteless.
No, it's a little tasteless.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, I was watching The Mandalorian when I was watching the last episode, and those I don't remember what they're called now, but they're cool robot. But I'm just like, wow, it's Cybermen.
Yeah, the Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
They reminded me a lot of Maximilian from
the Black Hole.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that movie in ages, and I need to rewatch that movie. I loved that movie as a kid.
Oh, by the way, Gary says there hasn't been a good Cyberman episode since Earthshock. He says, yes, I said it.
I'll agree. Earthshock is still probably one of my favourites, definitely, especially because of how it was such a surprise. I remember watching that one back on UK TV when it first aired, and nobody knew the Cybermen were going to show up at the end of that first episode. It was one of the best kept secrets the BBC had ever managed.
I like that episode for other reasons, but
bye, Adric.
Bye, Adric. Bye.
No regrets.
Yeah. But everybody keeps comparing the Cybermen to now I can't think of it. Star Trek, the Borg, but there's a total difference between the Borg and the Cybermen. Cybermen are all in suits. The Borg, you can see, you know, like flesh with parts and stuff. I mean, there's
Well, there
Yeah,
was certainly-
Cybermen came first anyway.
They did, yes, and the Borg was certainly inspired by the Cybermen anyway.
yeah,
Well-
but they're a little bit different. You can see a little bit of more of the facial features and stuff, just the cyber parts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the Mondasian Cybermen weren't completely metal though. So that when they were first used in Doctor Who, the faces were just sort of like sackcloths, weren't they? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
you know,
what made it creepy, though. And for me,
Yeah,
that's.
And voices as well. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were in the 10th planet. Was that the first? That's the first time we saw them, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were even creepy. I actually think I like the design better in the 10th planet than what they did with New Who. I mean, although they got it pretty close, I prefer the 10th planet. I think they're
Bubble.
creepier in that.
Colin P said, the scene between the Master and Missy is exactly why I dislike the idea of a cross-gender regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
But why did they have to go
yeah.
there? Like, I don't get why they had to do. They didn't have to do that. It was cheap. It was just so easy, and it was like, that's the only thing that was my only complaint about that story arc. Really, honestly, it was perfect. Other than that.
But when you look at this, the Master is like self-absorbed. I mean, it's like it all revolves.
No, I mean, I get that. I mean, and he can be self-absorbed without having to like make some kind of sexual like connotation between the two. I mean, you can do that without doing that.
Oh, you've had just made a comment here.
No, I agree.
Was always in yeah, that's true. He was always.
But the Master still had class. And
Yeah,
it just
he
seems
did.
tasteless. Like, could you? I can't see Delgado doing that. Like, to me, like he wouldn't do that, even if he was faced with the female version of himself,
Oh,
which
oh.
is basically
because and this is what Colin P says, because the Sim Master was insane. You know,
yeah. So was Delgado and all of
Yeah.
them, but
Oh yeah.
But
Oh,
at that point where Sims Master meets Missy, though, this was after the drumming in his head's been taken away, isn't it?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So he seems more like a Delgado type of master. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
what he was going for, actually.
they certainly went back to the beard came back, didn't it? And he was wearing the sort of outfit similar to the original Master as well.
I think that's what they were trying to do, and
Yeah.
I prefer John Sim in those episodes though because of that. Before with the whole like I'm so hungry and that was so stupid. I mean, just
Oh,
like
no,
yeah,
no, I didn't like him in that one.
I did not like the idea. Hunger. Dear says no one mentioned the cyber break. Thanks a lot, Moffat.
Oh God, no.
I don't think Moffat probably planned on doing it. Probably was, I don't know, outside influence.
See, Doctor Who, well, the BBC or the producers, or I mean, it was Stephen Moffat at the time, wasn't it? But they probably thought that's a homage to the Brigadier by making it that he's saved the day. But it's actually disrespectful to him because he's, supposed to be resting in peace. He's gone. He's done. So, and bringing him back and putting him in a cyber suit and then having him fly off around wherever because we never saw him again.
No. He saluted.
Well, I think they wanted to shoe her then in because they wanted her to say basically and confirm it, saying she didn't, how did you survive? Well, the Cybermen, obviously was her dad saved her and all that. And I mean, which is at the time I didn't have a problem with it because I hadn't watched Classic. But it's amazing when you just see that you don't have an issue. You're like, why is everyone griping about that? That was a nice scene. And then when you go back and you watch all the Classic, and then you're like, how dare they?
Yeah.
Because you understand it.
Oh, Colin P. brought up a great question. When was the drumming taken away?
The end of time part 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, we assume it was taken away when the events of the end of time, because that's when it was only there for the Time Lords to be able to bring themselves through, wasn't it? So once that happened, we assume that's when it was taken away.
Rocket says, I never thought anyone would look back at Moffat's last two series. I think to themselves, I miss Hugh being this good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact that Moffat's last two series were Peter Capaldi, obviously, he was a great Doctor, so they were good series. But some of the things that Moffat decided to do weren't so great.
I think it was like probably the BBC pressuring down on them.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it, because it's getting towards the latter part where he was leaving and Chris Kimball was coming in. So the BBC was probably pressuring him on some stuff.
Well, the only problem I had with Moffat was how William Hartnell was portrayed. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm a Moffat apologist. I don't have as many problems as some people do, but that the way he was portrayed, I honestly can't forgive that.
Well,
because that wasn't how he was at all.
Well, he was probably being pressured into.
Maybe, but I felt like it was a parody of William Hartnell, and that that is really hard for me to forgive.
I was really optimistic when I realised David Bradley was coming back to play him because of what he played William Hartnell like in the Adventure in Space and Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was better as Hartnell in that. Actually,
he was. He absolutely was. He was certainly better as playing William Hartnell, playing the Doctor, than he was playing the first Doctor. But I think it was more. I mean, the Time Meddler is a perfect example because the Doctor we see in Twice Upon a Time or whatever it's called is not the Doctor we see in the Time Meddler. The Doctor is not that patronising to women. He's not, he's not sexist in any way, and that the way they portrayed him in in Twice Upon a Time was just
because this was happening in like between the 10th Planet and in the same time period. So if you watch the 10th Planet, you're just like, this doesn't go.
No.
And that's not how, that may, in the era when he was alive in that certain era, but he didn't bring that part, as to play the Doctor. I mean, because when you look at the era, it was probably like that, that women have to clean and they don't have jobs.
I mean, David Bradley's just doing a job. He's just doing
obviously it's not him.
And I haven't listened to any of them, but he's done some of the audio ones, hasn't he? So I'm assuming he's done an okay job with those. But yeah, the way that was written was unforgivable.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the question. Now, we don't do we think that Sacha Dhawan, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, sorry, I butchered some names.
You got that one. You got that one right.
You did.
I did. Cool. How do you think he would do if we had a male doctor? Would you think he would? Do you think he would be a good master? I mean,
well, under Chibnall's writing, no.
Well,
this is the problem. Even if we do get a male doctor back after Jodie Whittaker, with Chibnall still in charge, I still think you're going to get major problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, if we had good writing and Chris Kimball wasn't there, do you think Sacha would be a good master?
I was okay with Sacha Dhawan. I didn't think he was that bad. He certainly wasn't horrible anyway. But I think that it was the writing of his character that was the problem.
Yeah.
I think under a good writer, Sacha Dhawan would certainly play a good. I mean, Sacha Dhawan is a brilliant actor.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I think since Sting came back as a psychotic master. He was very solid. He's more like the Joker from Batman, Tim Burton's Batman. Whereas Delgado and Ainley, they've been quite slick, quite debonair. They weren't over the top. I found Sim in that, and they seem to have done that the whole way through with the master. Sacha Dhawan is a bit over the top as well.
Oh, by the way,
overly flamboyant. So.
By the way, Colin P said, Twice Upon a Time was written to push their agenda. that the past was sexist and evil.
Yeah.
I think that's the way when I was I could see that basically we're trying to show that that's you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it just I did not like it. I mean I was like you, Blue. It's like whenever he said, "Doctor, I let you go," it's like I already knew. It's like okay, bye bye.
Yeah,
No,
well, that line itself, I just haven't seen anything since then as the Doctor, because she's not. I'm still in my. I'm pretty good at sort of compartmentalizing and choosing what I want, as your own sort of head canon. And as far as I'm concerned, she's not the Doctor.
No.
no. She every time I hear her voice, it feels like there's nails going down the chalkboard.
And she tries to give a speech. It's like there's no passion. And the thing is that here's my criteria. If when a doctor gives a speech and if it doesn't make you tear up or make you feel something, you're not the doctor. You're not the doctor. You're not it. If you don't make people feel something in a speech that you give, and make people think, then no. I mean, and she's not done that. In my opinion, she's not done that.
And you can blatantly see they've tried to do it and it just hasn't worked, because there's been a couple of times where they've given her these speeches and they've just been they've fallen so flat, and you're just like, no.
She's not a very good actress. She's got no gravity whatsoever. No. Just like an annoying woman you meet in a supermarket that tries to tell you off or something, not wearing a mask or something.
Dr. Karen.
Basically. So it's not the Doctor. The Doctor, I don't know. There's something regal about the Doctor. There's something authoritative about the Doctor, and she possesses none of those qualities. Really, she's got no charisma whatsoever.
Not only that, it's like I've heard someone say this, and I think it was Mecorandum. She said, "Look, it's like riding around with mom. Like mom's going to take you on an adventure. You either have mom wanting to take you on an adventure, or you want dad to take you on an adventure. Well, dad's more fun because dad doesn't play by the rules." Okay? So I think that's why Doctor Who has worked, personally. And nothing against moms, but moms are a lot more stricter than dads for the most part. So the doctor is like some fun dad that so I'd rather be hanging out with dad in the TARDIS than mom in the TARDIS. So
by the way, Yvette's going to bed. Night, Yvette.
Night, Yvette.
Not Yvette.
I mean, can you imagine Whittaker's Doctor in the story we reviewed in the Time Meddler?
No, I can't imagine her in any classic story, but especially this one.
Well, Hartnell basically takes charge of that story, doesn't he? And he knows what he's planning, even though you might not know it straight away. He's planning something, and like the scenes, like I said, where he's sat there just thinking about what to do next and things like that. Whittaker's Doctor would basically wait for somebody else to tell her how to sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
The only person I like in with Jodie, only person I can stand that really I like is Bradley Walsh. I mean, I like that's the only one I like out of this era.
Yeah,
actors Bradley Walsh.
He had sense. The rest of them, I mean, no, but she always needs. She needs confirmation about who she is all the time.
Yeah, so it's like if you're the doctor, you should know. You don't need to be reminded,
coddled, and I need to be pumped up, fam. I need no.
Well, it's like that. I mean, I know not everybody watched it, but I did, unfortunately, and it's like the way she escapes from this prison in that most recent travesty they've just done. She can't figure out how to get out of it herself. She just sits there for 19 years until Jack turns up. So, and if the Doctor can't figure out how to get out of it, and you've got to wait for Jack Harkness to turn up and break you out, then that's not the Doctor.
Well, she waited on a man.
By the way,
you're the man's hope.
There was even actually a scene. One of the scenes in it where Jack is helping her escape. He's constantly putting her arm on her shoulder and leading her out and things like that. And you're just thinking,
It's like
Hang
pat
on
her
a
on the
minute.
back. Come on, we gotta go. Like she's a little old lady. Come on.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, Rocket said Jody's doctor is like a boring aunt. He buys you socks every Christmas, smells faintly of cats, and when she visits you, you can't wait to say, okay, I'm not saying this.
I'll say it, you can't wait for it to fuck off. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's Dr. Mom or Dr. Aunt. It's not even like an interesting uncle. It's not even cool. It's like the Magic School Bus. No, I don't want to go on with the teacher on I want to go with the cool uncle. You know, that's who I want.
You know, it's just you what this like from what I've seen. She's like from some of the. I thought previous the spring one would be good, but when I watched it, I'm like, oh my god, it's like watching paint dry or grass grow. I actually had to force myself to sit down to actually watch it. It was like, and whenever the someone's phone's ringing.
Yeah, hold on 1 second, guys.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. She's waiting for a repair guy, isn't she? So
Yeah.
But it's just I thought it would be exciting, but whenever the guy I thought barely washed was a doctor, and you see her stick up her hand, says, "I had an upgrade." I'm like, oh my god, that right there was a slap to me.
Yeah.
That was a slap in my
oh my!
face.
I can't, Gary. How can anybody choose between them? They're both equally as bad. But put up Gary's question.
Okay, question for the Bambles: what's worse, Jody's doctor, or both, Gary? Both.
Jody's doctor, because the Cyberwoman was sexy, and Jody. That's true.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. But I mean, they're both equally badly written. They're the whole premise of a Cyberman is that, I mean, they've even said it themselves, the Cybermen. There's no gender involved in a Cyberman, so why is this one in a slinky outfit and got high-heeled shoes on? So the whole premise of the Cyberman is just absolutely rubbish. Put the question back up again, see what Andy thinks of it.
Question. This is what.
Oh God, that's hard.
You should see Rocket put.
Because that is why I stopped watching Torchwood the first time. When I got to the Cyberwoman episode, I'm like, no, I can't do this. Because Jason's friend, you need to watch Torchwood. You'll really love it. And I'm like, okay, I was liking it until I got to the Cyberwoman episode, and I had literally had to turn it off. So they're both bad. I would rather just take cyanide and just forget it.
Rocket says, what's worse, Jody's doctor or the Cyberwoman? You mean they are not one and the same?
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
They're both as emotionless, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather take cyanide and just end it.
Like I don't know whether you heard it, Andy, but the Cybermen are supposed to be genderless. They've got no emotion, they've got no gender, they've got nothing. That's why they're just automatons in a suit. But and Chibnall decides that they're going to write this slinky one in a sort of cyber bikini with high heel boots on.
Yeah, no.
No.
And you just
because she was built by a man.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, it could have been worse. So,
That's
as a man like that, it was okay. If it was Russell in charge of that episode, we might have got a male like that.
You'd have probably got a male half dressed, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But, so it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been.
I mean, even the whole thing just didn't look. When they put, I mean, I think they're even supposed to only put the brains into the Cybermen, aren't they? So the rest of it is all mostly cybernetic. So, but this one you could, you had to have her midriff showing so you could see the slinkiness of her and all this sort of stuff. And you're just
for a guy that's it's about feminism, he sure got sexist all of a sudden with that episode.
Look at what Gary wrote. The Cyberwoman was sexy. YouTube comment of the day.
Who said that?
To be fair, the actress who played her was very attractive. She was very.
Oh, she was. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was very much a takeoff of I think it's Metropolis by Fritz Lang, that old silent film. It was very much like that.
Yeah, he ripped off. That's his MO. He rips off stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he certainly does.
And he makes it worse. It's look, if it's one thing if you rip off something and you make it better, then you improve on it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that. He rips it off and makes it worse.
Yeah,
He's a plagiarist. Lots of plagiarists around.
But a bad one.
yeah. It can't if you can't plagiarize right, to make it exciting.
Right. I mean, like Lovecraft is,
yeah.
The Thing is based on a Lovecraft story, but they made it better. They improved on it. They made it their own thing. No pun intended, but they made it their own thing, and so that's why it works.
But I want to tell you something. This gender swapping, no. And I saw pictures of those Time Lords, Cybermen. No thanks.
I think, if I'm honest, the biggest problem, and I mean, I even criticize myself for this one, is they were teasing this for a long time. They were teasing it. They were, Missy, and the fact that they'd mentioned what was the guy who had the snake tattoo that had been a woman a couple of times. I can't remember what he was called, but in the Doctor's Wife episode, Corsair. That's right. So they teased this a lot, that it was coming. They teased the fact that we were going to get a female Doctor, and I think the fact that we accepted the things they'd been doing up until that point. So we accepted Missy, we accepted all the other things, because the BBC didn't get too much resistance to those things. They thought, they're going to accept a female Doctor, and then it blew up in their faces.
Yeah, Moffat admitted in an interview recently that Jason has shown me that he said that was a test. All those things were tests.
Yeah.
But what they didn't understand is, like, look, your casting makes a difference.
Yeah.
And that's why. So, I mean, if the casting of Missy would have been really horrible, like Jodie Whittaker level, there would have been an uproar of people losing their shit. So there wasn't any of that. Yeah. So they don't see it that way.
Oh, I like what Lizzie just said. If Chist had original thought, his head would explode.
Here's an interesting one: do you think we would have accepted it easier if this had happened after William Hartnell?
I don't think so. I don't think it would be acceptable.
If it had been thrown into the lasted, would it?
It wouldn't have lasted.
I think a female Doctor?
Yeah.
I think if they would have done it early in the classic series, it would have been made more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably would have gotten a better actress back then too.
Very possible, yes.
I'm sort of a reasonable sort of age, really. When I was growing up, I never had any female heroes. There was always people like the Doctor or the $6 Million Man or stuff like that. There were no female heroes. And maybe they thought it wouldn't work, really. I don't know.
I mean, it was teased a couple of times, wasn't it? I mean, there's all sorts of articles that the Jodie supporters throw at you, where people like Sidney Newman suggested it once, but he only suggested it when he was trying to get his job back at the BBC.
Yeah.
Tom Baker apparently suggested it, but that was at a point where Tom Baker was seriously cheesed off with the BBC.
But he was also making a joke as well.
Yeah.
And people take that and ran with it.
Said the head of Cabbage would be able to.
Yeah.
He did.
By the way,
Cabbage probably would have done a better job.
Probably.
Certainly would have done better than Jodie Whittaker, yeah.
I think there was another cheese part is when Matt Smith, after he was going hands, figures, elbows, below me to chin, he pulls his hair like this. He says, "I'm a girl."
Test.
That was the first. I think that was the first test. Yeah,
that was the first test.
And then, like,
an alarm on his face.
Oh, but if we would have raised hell about that, let's say we just lost it. Do you think that would have made a difference?
No.
That's a very good question. No, I don't think it would have done, actually. But I'm just thinking maybe they'd have thought twice about it if we'd have shown more resistance. And I say I blame myself for it as well, because I didn't show enough resistance to it back then. But I'm not sure it would have. I'm not sure. Oh, hello, Story.
Sorry, I'm having to be on to my stream one of these times.
And I don't think I would have. Yeah, I don't think it would have changed their minds, but it may have delayed it a bit longer, maybe.
The proper actress in the role would have made a biggest difference in the world, because Missy won everyone over with her performance.
I mean, I think she knew how to play the the master. That's the reason why. To me, it looked like she knew how to play the role, even though
Thanks.
that's the way I look at it. She knew how to play the role. That's the way I look at it. I think she
Well,
studied it.
as we've said, Michelle Gomez is a good actress, so
Oh yeah,
she, if that, I don't actually know whether she could have played the Doctor because I think she plays evil better. But
She says she has a face for evil.
yeah,
she was. I think she was in. I think Highlander. I think in the Raven.
Oh,
which,
really?
which is branched off for Highlander. Basically, it's called the Raven, and she played it. I want to try to find it so I can watch and see how she played her character, and that that show.
Yeah, she's in Sabrina too, and she actually owns that show. Like she does great. That's not one reason why I watched it for her. And she's like she steals every scene of it that she's in. So she's a great actress.
I can't believe he was talking. Garrett says we were talking about the time Meddler, and we're not talking about the time anymore. We're talking about the time shrew.
well, yeah.
Well, if we want to go touch back on the Time Meddler, was it the first time we had a full episode without the Doctor?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he was behind the cell door for part of it, wasn't he? But we never actually saw him for the entire episode. Yeah,
William Hartnell was on vacation at the time.
Yeah,
you take a holiday. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, was this the point? Was this the point where his illness was starting to really affect him? Because there were a couple of times I noticed through this story where he made some mistakes.
Yeah, he fluffed his lines a few times, didn't he?
Yeah, and because of the limited sort of reshoot time that they had back then, they had to leave a lot of them in.
Yeah.
They had a lot of problems on the shoot as well with Hartnell because this was the last story of the last full season that Barry Lambert did. The next story was Mission to the Unknown, no, Galaxy 4, I think. Then she left after that. And Hartnell didn't like the new guy who came over. And there was quite a lot of rows on screen on when they were recording and things like that. So Hartnell wasn't in a very good mood anyway. But he left the next year, didn't he? And he never acted again. So his health must have been very much on the slide.
Well, I think he did some stage work after that, didn't he? I think he did some stage work because isn't there a famous interview where he was interviewed about playing the Doctor and he was in a dressing room of a theatre somewhere?
I've never seen that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere too, I think.
Yeah.
Here,
we're seeing it.
We talked about Peter Capaldi says, David Tennant says, I don't want to go. Well, I watched Adventure in Space and Time whenever he was told that
that was fictional. That was thrown in. He didn't say that.
Dramatized.
They were trying to like tie in, I guess, New Who with.
Yeah,
that.
but what I'm saying is, could you picture him? Because he put himself in the role. I mean, if you watched, live his episodes, you could see he threw himself into the character.
I can believe he probably didn't want to admit that he wasn't well enough to do it.
Yeah,
but that actual line was just because of the fact that people like David Tennant saying it.
Yeah, I mean, if it would have been the Capaldi era that was made, it would have been like, Doctor, I let you go. They would have tried to shoehorn that in there. Yeah, they were just trying to I guess put a nod to the new Who and what came after. That's why they had Matt Smith.
Because I read somewhere as well that the final scene in that Adventure in Space and Time, where William Hartnell's Doctor looks across and sees Matt Smith stood at the console.
Oh, that was like a touching,
but apparently it was filmed in green screen so that they could replace whoever was going to be stood there if it was ever shown on TV again. So it's been done in such a way that it's easy for them to change whoever's stood there. So the current, if they ever show that Adventure in Space and Time on BBC again,
Oh, you know who they're going to put in there
they will.
too.
They will
And oh
Yeah.
God, oh my God, oh I didn't even think about that. Oh God,
No.
I'm sick.
No.
Hopefully they don't show it on TV in the next year,
That
and then
literally
you won't
makes
have to worry.
Sick. That makes me sick.
No,
If they do that, oh my God, I'm going to write an angry letter.
We'll do it for the 60th, won't they? So let's do it again.
It's
Oh,
very,
I bet you
very
they do.
possible. Yeah, it's very possible they'll show it for the 60th, and whoever's in the role at the time will be replacing Matt Smith.
I should have bought whiskey after you told me that. I need whiskey now.
And you can actually tell when you watch it, you can actually tell that he's been sort of CGI'd into the position. So it's set up so that whoever's the current Doctor and the next time
And you
they
know
show
what? Honestly, and I see Starry saying no. You know, I see that happening, and I literally can see like that would anger so many people if they do that.
Oh yeah,
That would just like I will make one more negative video about that era if they do that, because that is just would be a travesty if you do that.
I'm very sorry that I've given people migraines pointing that out, but
making me drink.
It was genuinely stated in an article that that's the way they've done it, but thankfully, obviously the releases that everybody has bought, I mean, I've got it on Blu-ray, so the releases that we've bought, that's got Matt Smith in it, so that can never change.
I thought
it's
that
only,
it's the idea, though.
Yeah.
That's gonna haunt me. I'm having nightmares. I'm gonna.
Well, the thing about it is, if they push this bullshit about Hartnell not being the first Doctor, the scene's going to lose all its effect anyway if they put a certain person facing Hartnell, won't it? So yeah.
I'm pouring a round of whiskeys now. That's my girl.
You know not to watch on TV again on the 60th, right?
Yes, if it's being shown on TV, I wouldn't watch, especially not if. Well, it depends when. If at the 60th, obviously we've got a decent actor in the role and it's male, then we can.
Well, if you hear around that time that I'm in the hospital, then you know I saw it, because I will have a heart attack or a stroke, and I'll be in the hospital hooked up because of Jodie Whittaker being pushed in there.
When I saw that was like a perfect tribute, basically. But no, oh God. Now
if they're gonna change it, I'm fine with Peter Capaldi, like a version with that. I would totally buy that. I would go out and I'd buy the disc and have the Matt Smith one, have that one. But yeah, I would never accept him turning and seeing that clown.
No. Now
and saying this is the future, like him looking at it like it's a future of Doctor Who. No.
I'm gonna have nightmares now. Thanks, Neil. I'm gonna have nightmares.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that was the way they did it. So,
I never thought of that.
We just need to pray that the next time it's shown, which is more than likely going to be around the 60th anniversary, that we have a decent Doctor in the role.
Can we additionally remove Jodie from put an extra?
It still would. You could put. Listen, you could put Michael Sheen, which I honestly don't think that he's even right for the role. I like him, but I don't even think he could save it. But they could put Michael Sheen and put him in the role, have him act those parts out, and it would still suck.
Yeah, it's just you gotta have good writing. You have to have a good writers. Not someone
you just still have to have a good writer is important, but you still have to have a good actor.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. But can you imagine Michael Sheen acting out that Orphan 55? Really?
Okay, here's a question. I
know Peter Capaldi could save that shit.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, I mean, I know Hugh Jackman. We all know him as Wolverine, but can you picture him? Put him aside as that.
No.
Well, he'd never do.
I love Hugh Jackman. I think he's a great actor. I just think he's too typecast at this point.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just what I'm saying, he's good in anything he does too. So I think possibly.
I actually am leaning more to a Craig Ferguson type. or like Tom Ellis is just like a favorite. I like him, the idea, because he is very popular. But I would think Craig Ferguson would be kind of my it's kind of my pipe dream of seeing him, because I think he would do a great job. He doesn't think so, but I could see it. He's at the right age now where he could pull it off.
Oh, Rocket says, I wish I could remove Series 13 from my brain.
Don't we all, mate? Don't we all?
Yeah.
And he says, Brian Brain.
Brian.
Brian the Brain.
Life of Brian.
But I was quite surprised that, and I can't remember the guy's name that he recommended, but apparently John Barrowman recommended a white male actor for the next Doctor.
Oh.
Now I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I cannot remember that. I'm sure somebody might have seen it and might mention it in the chat, but I think it was somebody he's worked with on something, and recommended this guy. I think
the guy who's the new lead in the new Russell T Davis.
Oh right, okay, but it was a white male.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely amazed, because I thought he was, I thought somebody like John Barrowman would definitely recommend another woman for the role or something else. But it was a white male, and I was like absolutely gobsmacked that John Barrowman would recommend that.
But you have to understand, he's a fan like we are. So he has a lot of nostalgia like we have of Doctor Who. So I can understand that, he's not, and I don't think, also he's gay. He probably wants a nice man to look at. I mean,
could be.
And I'm all for that.
Anybody like John Barrowman who wants work from the BBC isn't going to slate Jodie Whittaker. We know that. We know that that's why most of these other actors who've portrayed the Doctor, apart from Peter Davison, had the balls to stand up for it. But most of the other ones have said, "Oh, she was a brilliant choice," purely because they just want to be able to get work out of the BBC. And it's the same with anybody. I'd be fairly certain that anybody who has praised her in the acting world to do with Doctor Who, so any of the actors who've been in Doctor Who that have praised her, have done it because they don't want to tarnish being able to get work from the BBC. Because I doubt any of them watching what she's doing in that show and watching what Chibnall's writing thinks that's good.
They know. They absolutely know. And Starry was saying the actor is gay. I don't really care. There's plenty of there's actors that are gay that you probably wouldn't know are gay. They're just brilliant actors. So that doesn't bother me, as long as you're not coming out in flamboyant and you got rainbow colors on. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, Neil Patrick Harris is a prime example. I mean, he's a gay man in real life, and he plays mostly straight men.
The actor from Dracula Untold, completely gay. You would not know it, but he's a great actor. So, I'm fine with that. I just want a man in the role. I don't care.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to tell you, me and John Berman share the same year, that we were both born in the same year, 1967. Right. I found that out. I was like, I forget what month he was born, but I found out we're both born the same year. I'm like, oh my God. It shocked me. It surprised me in a way.
What Rockets just said, if he's talking about Jodie Whittaker, does not surprise me. Saying, look on IMDb at what she's got lined up for the next few years. There's nothing. She has killed her own career.
Yet our Doctor, what we consider the same, still the Doctor, was in the Suicide Squad. With the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Peter Capaldi went on to do, he went on to do all sorts after the role. I mean, I think most of them have, but I can't see Jodie Whittaker getting, on the strength of Doctor Who, I can't see her getting good roles.
No. She couldn't even get a good role. I don't know how. The only reason why she got this role is because she knows Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
And she worked with him on Broadchurch. They don't think they would have considered her had he not. They would have got a woman, but they probably wouldn't have been her.
All right. Ollie Alexander apparently was the name of the guy. And I was just gobsmacked that John Barrowman recommended a white male for the role.
I mean,
Is that-
he still checks a box, but as long as he's not like saying the doctor's, you know, oh no, not that guy. Look him up. I'm telling you,
I haven't
when you look
actually
him
looked.
up, you'll go, oh, he's insane.
Hey there, Dean.
I better have a look now just to see because I.
Oh yeah, because you'll say no. I know you will.
Name again? Holly Alexander?
Ollie, it's
Ollie.
Olly.
I think it's Holly.
Oh.
Well, yeah,
right.
yeah, it's a little Holly. Yeah, it kind of goes that way, but
Someone suggested in one of the groups suggested Hugh Glory.
I mean, I mean, it may be that he won't look like that in the role. There are better pictures. There are some better pictures of him.
yeah, I see that now, but still, he's.
Can you see that?
I look, I am a little ageist in the fact that I do like an older doctor. He does it. He's green.
If he goes for, hang on a minute. I'll save this and then I can show it. If he goes for this look, he's a bit young, but if he goes for this look, then he could probably pull it off. But certainly more than some of the other pictures I've just seen, anyway.
Yeah, the first picture comes up, you're like, no.
Yeah,
no.
there are some unusual ones. I'll give you that.
If there was a biopic pick for Depeche Mode, he'd do a really good.
Absolutely, I know what you're going to say.
Right?
Yeah.
But,
the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Share that, Michelle. Share that, Michelle.
Yeah, that's better. But still, like he just looks younger than Matt Smith did.
He does. He looks a little bit too young, but maybe this. I don't know how old this picture is. So
he looks like Martin Gore in Depeche Mode, a younger.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be much better than Jodie Whittaker, though.
I can't comment on his acting because I've not seen him in anything. But
it's hard to say until you see them in the role.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Like, I'm sure a lot of people, when they saw Peter Capaldi, are like, I don't know. I mean, I knew because he had a look, and looks do matter. I mean, it appealed to me, but not to everybody likes the same. I like an older doctor, so I'm like John Pertwee. You know, they got to be in their 40s. I mean, you know.
Now, Matt Smith pulled it off. Even though he was young, he pulled it off.
But he looks younger than Matt Smith, so it's like somebody from the class decides he's going to be the doctor. So
see, Matt Smith plays it very older, though. He's not. He's very good at. Yeah, he's beyond his years. Matt Smith is, so he plays it very older.
And he's got a look about his face. He does look as if he lived before, doesn't he? He looks slightly haunted.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Except it would be like the Queer as Folk 90210.
Holly Oaks, Dr. Who.
Yeah.
She said Matt Smith was young, but he just looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, kind of like once you see him play it, you kind of get what he was going for. And I can accept that. He's never been my ultimate favorite doctor, but he did it well. You know, playing an older doctor, he was trying to do the Troughton thing. And I can see that. But that guy, he'd have to really prove it to me. I mean, he'd really have to.
Yeah, Andy's going to hate me for this, but Matt Smith's my favorite New Who doctor.
That's good. Yeah, you know, the thing is that I do enjoy him. I prefer like someone more seasoned, you know, just in general when I watch something.
Geeks, enjoyed Neurotic. Nice to see you. He has to go.
See, Starry agrees with me. 40 minimum.
I can see that. Yeah. I say unless you've got the rarities like somebody who can play it a little bit wiser and older, but yeah, I think most of the time you need to be looking at somebody in their 40s.
You know, I wasn't ever a Davidson fan either, but the thing is that now I think Peter Davison could come back and actually play the Doctor quite well.
See, apart from the fact, I mean, a lot of people just didn't like his youth at the time when he took over. Some of his stories were questionable, so a lot of people didn't like that. In his last season, and I've said this before, in his last
he's getting
season,
better.
he really was getting better as the Doctor. And of course, Caves of Androzani is probably one of my favorites.
And Big Finish, he shines as the Doctor. It's like it's really weird. I have a love-hate relationship with this Doctor because I don't particularly like him on the screen, but I love him in Big Finish. And so I think now, like, he could take on the role and he could just nail it.
Yeah.
And I know he's older and I know he looks older and he's not appealing to the young crowd, but I would totally watch it. I would totally be into it.
Even though it was a sort of saft comedy sketch, I didn't think he did a bad job with David Tennant when they did that time crash.
Oh, I love that.
That was
I absolutely adore that because that shows you he could still do it. Like he could still, and like, in fact, he's just so seasoned now that he plays him so much better. And I think it was like they were holding him back. Like it just felt like they were holding him back. Like he wanted to do. You saw glimpses in the last seasons with Caves, and I'm like, oh man, now he's going. Now I kind of like him now, and it's like great. Now he's gone.
Well, he said Davison had said it himself that if his last season had been his second season, he wouldn't have left because he was following the unlike Jodie Whittaker, who said she was following the advice of Patrick Troughton, he was actually following the advice of Patrick Troughton and just doing 3 years. But he said if his third season had been his second season, he wouldn't have left when he did.
Yeah, I mean he has some gems. I mean, there's some great there's some episodes I truly love. So like I said, it's a love-hate relationship with Davison. But
and at least he's the only one who had the balls to stand up for a fact.
I know, and that just he went up and
Oh, by the way,
I like you now.
Rocket's comment says Jodie has a hidden acting abilities, terrible as they are, that well hidden, even she can't find them.
She's hit him somewhere unmentionable.
She's a supporting actor, and she always will be.
She can't because
Jason watched her in a movie he actually liked her in, and I was shocked. It was called Adult Life Skills, and he said she was good in that. He was like but that was a good role for her. Like it was, she had mental problems and she struggled, but it was her level, right?
Yeah.
She's good at drama, but she's not good as in science fiction, a doctor. An unearthly creature. She's not that. She's not first of all, she's not alien enough. I mean, and that sounds strange because she plays it goofy, but she plays it like it's like Mr. Bean, the character playing the Doctor.
Well, the thing is, and I'll say this very carefully because I wouldn't want to upset anybody from Sheffield, because I know there are a couple of people in the chat from Sheffield, but she plays it like she's from Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's she's not from Sheffield, or the character isn't from Sheffield. So, I mean, the first episode, she was saying a sonic screwdriver was made from Sheffield steel, and all this sort of stuff. That's what makes, but it shouldn't be about where the actress is from. It should be about where the character is from, and she's not from Sheffield.
And I've said that she doesn't understand who the Doctor is. If you don't understand who the Doctor is and where it comes from, and in all the parts, and you haven't watched the episodes, you will not know how to play this character.
Yeah.
I like what Story said. You must leave, Drew.
Yeah.
And that's Max von Sydow impression.
Yeah. But well, I mean, Rocket's just said Sheffield is kind of embarrassed about it. Yeah, but
and her sonic screwdriver looks like a woman's play toy.
Well, they all kind of do if you think about it. Like, I won't even take them to work because I'm afraid someone might accuse me of having some kind of weird. I mean, I have the Matt Smith one, and I'm scared to take it to work because I know what people will think.
Well, I've got all the new series ones up to that one because I couldn't bother with after that one because, we've got.
I love the Capaldi one though. I have the Matt Smith one. I have the one with the remote control for the television that I had no idea how to do. Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I love the third Doctor one though. That one's the coolest.
Oh, the classic ones are still great, but
Mhm.
I mean, I could never bring myself to buy Jodie Whittaker's.
Oh
Absolutely
God.
not.
And if you've seen it in person, it's not. It's just a hunk of crappy plastic. I mean, they all kind of are, but that one is. It's apparent. It's not even cool.
Yeah.
It's not even like cool plastic. It's just like it looks
No.
like he got it out of a bubble gum machine.
And if you were the Doctor, surely he would have had to improvise one on the spot. So he's just using materials he got lying around, and it looks like it's been just rushed together. It's all sort of tatty metal and things like that. Surely then, when he got the TARDIS back, wouldn't the TARDIS then he could just get a new one made rather than keep using this crappy one that he's made out of a bit of metal?
My thing is, why does it have to change every freaking time? Like, it's like the TARDIS has to change every time. I like the white roundels. That could have been like, fine, let's leave it that way. I mean, although I do like Capaldi's TARDIS, and it's like, why does everything have to change? I'm like, all this change thing. It's like, we got to change it. It's like people like it too much. We can't have that.
I've got to admit, Capaldi's, well, sort of the one that Matt Smith in his last series, and then
that was good too.
That console and that console room was my favourite from the new series. I was never a great fan of Eccleston Tennant one.
I know, it's too dirty.
I hated Matt Smith's first one, the one that literally looked like it had been thrown together from all sorts of different bits.
Well, like I said, Matt Smith, David Tennant, their TARDISes look a lot better than what we have now.
Well, I will say this: if William Hartnell would have seen Eccleston's and Tennant's, he'd have been like, "It needs a good cleaning. Where's your cleaning lady? We need to get this cleaned up." I mean, it just looked so grungy. I didn't like it, but I do like the clean, the '60s roundels, and of course, I love the Tom Baker 70s brown paneling. That's great.
Oh, I have. Here's what's really weird. I have the brown TARDIS inside the TARDIS in Second Life that was.
Oh yeah, the panel one, the pure 70s like brown panel.
No, I have.
That's great.
I have the David Christopher Eccleston one. I have Matt Smith. I think I have a second one, and then I have William Hartnell's inside consoles in Second Life. They don't have Jodie Whittaker. Thank God.
Oh, you mean the Superman?
No,
Crystal Castle thing.
I don't. But what I'm saying in Second Life, this virtual reality game, they have all the consoles from all the Doctors, but they don't have Jodie's. Thank God. If they do, I would just die.
If I win the lottery, I'm gonna have a room built, and I'm gonna have I will literally have them replicate one room with the William Hartnell TARDIS, and then one room with the Peter Capaldi TARDIS, so I can just go in and hang out. That's my dream.
If I ever win the lottery, I've always planned that I'd have a police box with a sort of large brick-built shed on the back of it, so that when you walked into the police box, you walked into the TARDIS.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I've got to win the lottery first.
Yeah, and I bought a ticket, so.
Look what Starry says. Her sonic was made from Sheffield steel and crystals from the Tooth Monsters technology. It should have been used that once for a necessity, and I can't read the rest. Is going
and make the new, yeah. And how could the Doctor trust that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, well, nothing Chibnall does make sense, does it? But, yeah.
You know what I really want when I got my computer built and I saw these pictures. It's the TARDIS, basically. A Doctor Who type style, the tower. I was like, cool, I would love to have that. But I don't know where to go to get it. It looks like it's not basically style for Doctor Who. I think it's like a blue, like the TARDIS and stuff. And it's like,
is it like a console or?
No, it's it's for a computer. It's a tower to put, like the tower where you put all their stuff, the tower for a computer. And it was like a TARDIS.
It looked like it's a case that looks like a TARDIS.
Yeah, it's like.
That's cool.
I saw that picture. I even saw I think someone had I think it was a pinball machine or something.
Hmm.
I'm
I
like,
want that pinball machine.
Wait a minute. There's a police box PC case, and I haven't got it. What?
Yeah, I know. It's like I have a lot of TARDISes too. I have a TARDIS refrigerator, like a small one.
what
Yeah,
I heard,
I've got one of those. It's behind Lizzie at the minute. She can't.
But it makes a lot of
noise.
noise, so I have it in the closet. I need to take it to my job and plug it in and annoy people every time I open it. It makes a noise.
It sounds like it's the one I've got because it makes the sort of TARDIS noise when you open the
Yeah,
door.
it doesn't get real
Yeah.
cold though.
Actually, Lizzie just handed it me. Is it that one?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
oh, cool,
And when
nice.
you open it, the light at the top lights up, right?
Yeah,
And then,
this one.
it makes the noise.
This one's not plugged in, so it won't do it. But
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
it's the same one. Same one.
Nice.
Yeah.
thank you, dear.
Yeah, I love TARDISes too. I have two
Oh,
Funko Pop ones. I have the TARDIS jewelry box as well.
Oh,
Liz has got the jewelry box. I don't know where that is actually.
look what Gary just. Look
Is
what
it this
Gary.
one?
Oh, there.
Oh yeah, that's the one I have.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
There's not many I haven't got, but they're scattered all over the house.
Yeah, I actually just quit buying it because it's like to the point where that's all I was buying. And I have the TARDIS, the teacup, the big one, the mug.
Yvette just bought
That's
me a
at
new
work.
mug at Christmas, and that one's the police box all the
That's
way
a
around.
nice one. That's round. I like the rounded one, but I'm
Yeah.
afraid to drink out of mine because it chips. You know, I've heard they can chip.
I won't put a drink in that one. It's,
Yeah, and then I have the Dr. Heads ones.
I've even when the epidemic started or pandemic started, Yvette even bought me a hand wash one.
I have that too. Oh my god, that is so cool. I have that. It's underneath my cabinet. I kept putting it out, and Jason kept putting it up. Like, why are you putting my TARDIS hand pump up? I would reuse it.
Oh, I haven't. I daren't squirt any out of it. I want to leave it as it is.
I actually used it. We had two, and I don't know what happened to the other one.
Okay.
Well, you can probably answer the question for me then. Is the hand wash inside blue?
No, it was just regular level soap.
By the way,
If I remember.
My person from Australia posted this, and I want to show it so Neil could see it.
Oh,
I
wow!
need that.
I've never seen a police box PC case.
Oh my god, I must have that.
You know, annoyingly, I don't think that'd take my motherboard, but there we go.
It probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't fit in mine either, but
But I
I
think
would try.
I'd have it for display anyway, just to...
Yeah, it's really cool.
That was my friend. Oh yeah, Rennie. Hey, Rennie. Her name we call.
hello.
She's from Australia. She's the one that sent that.
That's cool.
Welcome. Yeah, because I told her I was doing the stream, and she probably popped on. But she was the one that sent me that picture, so I could. She heard me talking about it. So, yeah, I would like to have that, but
It's. But I've never seen one, and I have looked before. So that's pretty cool. That is.
yeah, good day to you, Rennie.
I'm still
Yeah.
waiting to I'm still waiting to have either enough money or find somebody with enough DIY knowledge to build me an actual full-size police box and stand it in the garden.
That would be great. And then put like a weeping angel out there, and then
Oh yeah.
and then a Dalek. Buy one of those life-size Daleks. Oh God, I just need money because I would be like the biggest. Like a lot of women spend money on stuff like shoes. Not me. I want like a life-size TARDIS with,
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
You see, the trouble is, I'd want a classic series one though.
I would
most-
too.
Most of the ones you can see for sale, because you can. There are companies that you can buy ready-made police boxes, but I think they're about £3,000, which I don't know what that works out to in dollars, but you never see many places actually selling the classic series ones.
Well, you could have it, like made,
Yeah.
like have somebody actually do it. I'm sure there's somebody out there if you paid enough money, like sure, I can do it.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
I would want the John Pertwee one. Because I like that one. I like the beat up TARDIS a lot more than just that's all clean. It's too clean.
The new ones are, yeah. The new ones are definitely a little bit too clean.
I want bookcase, TARDIS bookcase. I want that.
I think they used to do a long time ago. They did one for the VHS releases, a cabinet that you could put all the VHS releases in. I always wanted one of those and never got hold of one.
Do they have ones that they make bars too? Like you can keep all your liquor. I would just sit in it and just drink. I would just and have like a TV in it. That'd be great. Like have a little TV and I could watch classic Doctor Who while I'm getting drunk. That would be your answer.
I'm going to see if I can find it, but I found this on the internet the once. I have got it actually. I don't know how good the picture is. It's very. You might just be able to see it if I share this, Michelle. And I've instructed Lizzie that this is how I want to go.
Oh, I know. I'm threatening. I'm threatening.
Yeah. Somebody
and then
had
have people run in with Sonic and say, okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good. So, but yeah, I was when I found that I've had that picture for years as a template so that Lizzie knows what to make when I've popped my clogs.
That's cool though. Like I respect that. You know, I've seen Star Trek coffins, and then they have things like for Star Wars. I mean, people really fandom never dies, literally.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So
it doesn't. It's a pity that they. I mean, well, there is one in the UK that the Metropolitan Police put one back up in London. It's a modern one with all sorts of technology in it. But it's the only working police box left on the street now.
That's really sad. To me, they should be like historical landmarks.
There are still a few in Scotland that have been, but they were red ones in Scotland. They weren't blue. So, but they've been turned into like little coffee bars and things like that.
Yeah, but again, I think that is very sad, and it's almost disrespectful, but not because it's a show, it's a historical landmark. It should be preserved. I don't know if people will care in 50 years, but we will care until we die. We'll care about, and I think it's a respectful thing. To have some, with even have a little sign saying this is, historically. I mean, if the BBC had any respect, they would have one right outside the BBC office with a sign.
I drove past one once, and I was actually in traffic, and a friend of mine was driving at the time, and I made them stop in the middle of the road while I took the photograph of it.
Oh, by the way.
And it was unfortunately I found out afterwards it wasn't a real one. It was a mock-up, but it was actually at the side of the road.
Oh, that is beautiful. I would be crying. It would be so funny. If you saw me, you would know, oh my God, she must be a tourist. I would have got out of the car and I would have made, okay, stop. Well, we're going to take a picture right now. And I'd have tears in my eyes because to me, that's exactly where the Doctor would land. Some kind of innocuous place like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be where you would expect.
Okay, anyway, I got a picture that Rennie just sent me through on Discord that I know Neil is going to like. And Lizzie, take notice of this. This is probably what Neil would like to have when he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as I say, I've got that picture kept so that she knows what to do. Because if I'm going out, I'm going out in a police box coffin.
They have urns too. I want to be cremated, so I may just go tell them like I want to urn.
Well, that would be good because then you could be on somebody's display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annoyingly still talking about Doctor Who. I'm dead. He's like,
Family, that's what I want.
It'll be the last thing I say. It'll be something about a classic episode that I remember, and I hope to God I'm going out like that.
Yeah, although I'm still hoping they're going to find a cure for death yet. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah. So then
there's so many things I need to read, and so many things I need to watch, and so many things I need to,
Oh, it'll be sod's law that they will eventually get Doctor Who right again. And that will be about the time that I'm about to keel over and be like, I'm not going to see it.
Well, or you'll see it and you'll be alive and don't remember it. That's even worse.
Well, yeah.
We'll be on our deathbed and it'll say Doctor Who returns.
And we die.
Come on.
I hope we're still doing streams. Well, that will be hilarious. Unless the retirement community is doing a stream about Doctor Who.
Absolutely. Yeah. As long as I can sit down, we'll be all right.
Okay. And you, Andy, you said about the liquor cabinet.
Uh-huh.
I think if I got this right, I think this might
probably yes, that's the one. But see, I'd have a little seat in there. I'd have it make it to where it's a little bit bigger on the inside with, a seat, and then there'd be like a television with, so I could watch Doctor Who while I'm drunk.
That because of the fact, I mean, I get it because it's a cabinet that needs to open outwards, but you see, that annoys me when I see the doors open the wrong way. They've got to open.
Yeah, they do. It's wrong. I would just have a huge room with all my Doctor Who stuff and all other fandom stuff, and I would just have a bar, and then have a TV. That's where I'd want it, and then have another section where I have all my TARDIS consoles in.
Yeah,
I have it all planned out.
I'm waiting for the kids to move out. I've got plans for their bedrooms.
My son's moving out in April. He's living the life. I'm telling you. Look at that setup. Yeah. My God, that's my dream right there. Yeah. Like right there. Like I'll be streaming in some other room with all my stuff and shelves, which is full of stuff. I mean, I have a lot, but nothing like his.
Well, I have as much as Lizzie will allow me in here, but it's because it's all sort of just in one corner. She just about allows me to have it.
But I can't stop. Like I'm literally like an Entertainment Earth pre-ordering, and it's like I have no room. What am I going to put this up? Okay, I don't care. I'm ordering. It's like Queen. There's a Queen doll. Okay, I got that. I just can't stop. It's not just Doctor Who stuff. It's anything that I just adore.
Yeah.
So.
By the way,
Jason,
look at what Gary wrote. The cabinet is Andy's idea of
yeah, except it needs a TV, a DVD collection in it. So I just need a room. It's like that's just too small. I need a bar. I need the Doctor Who pinball machine that I'm dreaming of on eBay for $3,000. The Tom Baker one.
That'd be a cool idea, wouldn't it? Actually, open a memorabilia bar for just Doctor Who. So it's a bar where you can go and get a drink, and the place is just full of memorabilia.
My God, yes, that's my dream. And then have 2 extra rooms with my consoles that I can just hang out and pretend the Doctor's going to come in through the doors any minute.
Yeah,
because I'm
cosplay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll make Jason dress up as a doctor.
Gonna have to get him a Peter Capaldi wig.
He can do a Scottish accent, so it might work.
You could just see by the look on her face there, she's already thought about getting the Peter.
I did.
I thought that was who said he hasn't already. Look,
no, he wouldn't do it.
Look what Gary says. I want Bluebonnet to do a live stream from inside her new.
I probably would get locked in, like I got locked out, like my keys in the car earlier.
So, we started out with this time melter and then we digress.
Yeah, of course. That's
how often do streams ever stay on topic?
And we didn't mention one thing that we always mention in every stream, and those are 2 words.
Yeah, but we forgot to mention one thing I thought always would come up.
That's what I'm saying.
No, Paul. No,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what she's saying.
Paul McGinn, take a drink. Take a drink, Blue. Paul McGinn there.
It's a tradition. We have to veer off on Paul McGann talk. So we're mentioning it.
Look what and this stream gets X-rated.
When doesn't it? Like it's just like.
That's pretty standard, yeah.
That's pretty standard for any stream. But it's like I had to mention that and see Blue, you took a drink.
Yeah.
I knew he would come up somewhere.
He always does.
Yeah, he always does.
Well, I apologise for sending it down the police box tangent, but if we start talking
No,
about
I love that. I love talking about collecting those because at some point I had to stop because that's all I was collecting. I'm like, I got to kind of branch out a little bit.
I got the coffee TARDIS, and then I got the TARDIS where it projects the clock on top of.
oh yeah, yeah.
And then, like, because I've kind of like veered off into books because I got this the other day and I showed a bunch of people. Some people have already seen it, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. Buy it.
I did show this last night, but Rocket sent me a gift this week. It's
that's on my list as well.
Target one. Yeah.
And you probably heard, I was on a stream talking about I get fascinated with certain things, and I love the Doctor Who logo in green.
Oh,
it's very striking.
Yeah, one's in green. Yeah.
By the way, Lizzie's been saying it, and Story's been saying it. Yeah, but then what happens? Retro Duck says
Jenna Coleman. Well, you're not gonna get a drink for that. I like Jenna Coleman, but no.
How about this?
No.
Red bikini Purry.
Yeah, Retro Doc is gonna be in a red bikini.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. It should be cool.
And so I know he's already thought of it. A shirt with a bikini on it is not going to work. That is not a bikini. Because I know what he's thinking. I know where he's like, okay, I'll just buy one of those shirts look like you got a bikini on.
No, it has
to be a bikini.
Real thing. And you got to use.
Andy, you're Romana in the next one, and you've got to have the long white flowing outfit for that.
I'm Romana in the next one?
Apparently.
Oh, I didn't know. I haven't checked Discord today.
Uh-oh. Well, anyway.
I actually do have a nightgown that looks like that. Sort of. So I could probably make it work. And I've been waiting for an excuse to buy a feather boa anyway.
Well, anyway, I am going to have to put up. We're going to do a caption contest, and oh my God, Paul McGinn and trucks.
Well, what kind? Because I mean, I like
not budgie smugglers.
No speedos. No speedos. No man should wear those.
No.
No straight man should anyway.
Anyway, I'm gonna probably do a caption not probably, but I'm going to do the caption contest. But it's gonna try to pick one that I think would be. And I'm gonna do this. That's right there is the caption contest for people to come up with captions.
If somebody doesn't say something about size, I'll be very disappointed.
I'll be surprised if Rocket doesn't.
Oh, we know Rocket's going to come up with a good one. Okay, now I got to see if anybody's can't come up with some good ones. Oh, Rocket says, who, me? Oh, good. No, you know, Rocket, you have to have cats.
That's a good one.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on here.
See, I would have come up with something like, how am I supposed to social distance in there?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
See what Mr. Hyde put up.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Size matters.
Oh God. Is he going for a second one?
Lizzie will agree with that.
I'm not going there. Oh, Rocket, come on. Rocket, we're waiting for you. You come up with some good ones. Oh man, Rocky's being like, geez, it shouldn't take him this long. Here it is.
Oh,
The
yeah.
last time I opened the door, saw something going up and down, and it wasn't the count. Oh my god! And in the story, let's see here. It's not the size of your console; it's what you do with it that counts.
There we go.
And I'm gonna put this up. I keep saying it's not the size that counts.
Yeah,
it's how
that's the same.
you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has
Well, I
to
think some are on the same wavelength in the chat at the minute. Yeah.
And Retro Doc, you people are sick. Oh, come on.
Come on, Retro Talk. It's supposed to have fun. It's supposed to have fun.
Retro Doc isn't all that innocent. Trust me.
No.
No.
We know your secrets.
Yeah,
Got stuff on you.
Yeah, someone who's in love with Clara
And Perry.
Yeah.
Oh, Perry.
Yeah, in that bikini. Oh no. Mr. Hyde came up with another caption. Mushroom shaped dome. Anyone? It does look mushroom. Yeah. It looks like that.
See, I would have said something like, "Where do you put the weed?"
Oh, okay. If I had, is there any more people who wanna? He came up with another one.
Yeah.
Dob, your knob has shrunk. The doctor so has to. Okay.
That's a visual that we don't need to have.
No. Anybody else who wants in before out? Sorry, it's the filthiest.
Yeah, Retro Doc is the filthiest here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Retro. This like I want more. I'm gonna wait to see if anybody else wants to throw it anymore. I'm just waiting.
Well, I think they've already started duplicating now. Anyway, though.
Well, I have to. If I have to choose, you know what? I will go with Rocket's second one. I'm sorry.
You got the first one.
Oh, that was the first one? I thought that was the second one.
No, that's the second one, I think.
No, I said you've gone for the filthy one.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, what more? You know, that's Rocket. That's the way he goes. He always goes into the gutter. No, the sewer. He passed the gutter and goes to the sewer.
He knows how to please.
Yes, okay.
That's what she said.
Okay, now we're going to do this differently. 1 to 10 jelly babies would you rate the Time Miller Blue?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
9.5 stars. Because
Okay.
I'd only give 10s to like stuff like Genesis of the Daleks, but it's really close.
Okay, John, you're next.
I give it a good 8 jelly babies.
What about you, Mr. Hyde?
8.5.
8.5?
Well, if it's a 10 from me, I love that. I love that story. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I'm tired. I would have to go for a 9.
That's fair. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Look what Rod can say.
Yeah, there's always 100 decimal places from Rocket.
that's like kind of low.
Hello. Anyway, anybody who watches, how would you rate this episode? Just wondering. Since we started off with that and digressed, as always.
If you've all seen it recently, that is.
That's if you've seen it recently, yeah. Like I said, I watched the rest of it yesterday, so I mean, I'll tell you one thing. Haven't you noticed when as time went on with William Hartnell, he started, he started like more softer side. Because whenever you see the first episode, he's little,
He mellowed, yes. Yeah.
he a little mellowed as time went on.
He seemed
Yeah.
more mischievous. I mean, he was always mischievous, but he seemed like more like just more mischievous, less grumpy. I mean, I don't mind a grumpy doctor. I didn't mind that about Hartnell. I think that kind of, shaped him. But I do like it when he's like a little, he's an old man, but he acts like a little kid. It's endearing. So he did this more in this episode, and I quite enjoy that side of him.
Retro Doc, just saying right now, anyone who thinks they'll be able to stomach me in nothing but a bikini.
But there are people out there like Gary, so I mean, you're feeling a need.
I would like to see him in one. I would like to see that.
I mean, look, I'll be honest, I don't really want to see it, but for like shits and giggles, why not?
I was going to say, you do. You want to see.
Well, I do, but I mean, not in context is that like I enjoy it. But for shits and giggles, absolutely.
Yeah. Carry on street. Like carry on street. No, but it's like you could see as it going on, you could see him loving the character, just enjoying the playing that character. You could see his enjoyment in it. So
Yeah, he did.
Hey Blue, anything that you are planning on doing?
I'm trying. Well, I canceled the Holmes streams because a member of my panel wasn't feeling good, so I canceled. But we're trying to do part 3, so hopefully next weekend we'll be able to touch base back on that. But really, I'm just kind of like just focused on talking about the writing of classic Doctor Who right now. I'm trying to talk Jason into doing a Mandalorian review stream. He said he hadn't really been like in the mood to stream, so I'm gonna try to like maybe talk. Maybe tomorrow when he's in a good mood on his birthday, maybe I'll talk him into doing one.
Happy birthday, Jason, for tomorrow.
What?
What's that?
Happy birthday, Jason, for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'll let him know. He's 49, so he's their birthdays aren't quite as fun anymore.
No,
but
the older you get,
that's when you start going backwards, though. So the next one's 48.
yeah, but he can't flip the numbers. It'd be 94, so that's even worse.
Anyway, any streams, Neil?
Well, just the regular Friday nights.
What is the sci-fi streams that you're gonna be doing?
Not till the 20th of February is the next one, which is Indiana Jones we're doing. So yeah, that's the next one of that. But yeah, apart from that, just the regular Fridays, and there's a quiz coming up in a couple of weeks' time. First one back this year. So
yeah, and you're gonna give and Yvette's brain's gonna hurt.
Yvette's brain hurts.
Those are entertaining. Those are really entertaining. They really are. Just watching her, her brain hurt is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, as soon as she said she hates the quizzes, that became a regular thing to do them then.
Right.
Yeah, College just said no. It's Jason's 21st birthday.
Sure. Yeah. About 20-something years ago.
Mr. Hatter, you have any things coming up? I think you have some of your script doctors, aren't you?
We have a Buffy one coming up first. Season 4 and 5. Coming up in a couple of weeks. Technically, I haven't started watching the episodes yet. And then at the end of the month, I've got script doctors who are doing Creature from the Pit.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Can't wait.
Did you see what Gary just said? Okay, I'll start. Furry prehistoric bikini.
Oh, he will too.
Oh, and by the way, Collins just wait here. Colin says, yeah, when is the next quiz?
Not this Friday, coming the following Friday.
Okay. Me, I want to do tribute to Palm again. Get ready. I want to do a tribute to him. Not, I want more to do a tribute to him and talk about some of his stories in Big Finish because he got gypped out of playing us, his season as a doctor, which I've. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I heard that as strip doctors.
Yeah, well, that's not happening.
No,
And I want
no one wants to see this naked. No.
Actually, we could all be sitting here naked and nobody would know.
Oh, don't go there. Starry already thinks that I sit here with nothing on every day.
See what Lizzie put? Yay, public in stream, drunk stream.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
No, he got gypped out, so I just want to, do it for him as far as the Big Finish stories, and also want to do a tribute stream to my favorite doctor and Neil Favor's new doctor, Matt Smith. And I want to basically talk about,
No, you're sitting there just drooling the entire stream, Michelle.
Yeah.
He watches the episodes too. I watched one of the episodes. I watched Vincent and the Doctor, and that was really good. But I will cover on some of the episodes that were good, that I found good, and whoever's on my panel, the episodes they like from this era. And then in honor of Blue, I'm going to do a tribute to Peter Capaldi. Now, apparently he, I liked him. He was a good doctor, but just, can't much get into him. But yeah, but I think you're crazy. But whatever. Well, yeah. Anytime anyone wants to ever talk about Peter Capaldi, I am there. Like I absolutely adore him as a person and as a doctor, of course.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have guessed.
No.
Those eyebrows give it away.
Yeah.
Well, John, do you have anything you that's coming up?
I'll be doing some the next couple of weeks, another stream, but I've no firm plans as yet. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I mean, this is fun, even though it started off with Time Meddler and digressed. Oh God! Oh my God! Rocket says, "Does Michelle know that there are new?
Are there? I didn't know that. Are there though?
Don't get me started.
Hey, let me go look it up now.
No,
there probably are. I wouldn't doubt it I wouldn't doubt it very much. I know there's some nude photos of Peter Capaldi. I don't know. I've never looked him up, of course.
Oh, look what Lizzie just said. Look what Lizzie just said to you.
I would be too busy sniffing him, so
he wouldn't get as far as the tree.
Probably not. He'd probably be calling the police.
So now, what do you mean go for it? He's just saying go for it to me. I'm like,
oh, he's saying look up Paul McGann. Just make sure you're what's the word? The child lock isn't on your internet search.
By the way, this stream is 18 plus.
Yeah, just so everyone knows.
No. Descending into chaos is our specialty. That's what story I go.
Oh God!
Look how good. How on earth did we go talking?
Okay, but he's wanted to talk because when we used to do like honor streams, how did we go from talking to William Hartnell to talking about Jenna Coleman nude or Perry naked in a bikini. So I mean, don't even go there.
Don't no.
What? Jenna Coleman nude? What? Wait.
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
No, but it's like how he's talking about William Hartnell's time Miller to nude Paul McGann pictures.
Yeah.
Like he's the one to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, whoa, this is another 2-hour stream I've done.
Yep.
This is what happens when you just keep on going and stuff like that. So anyway, it's been a pleasure, everyone. You guys have a great evening, afternoon, whatever, wherever you're at. So I'll see y'all on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone, bye.